Hello, this is Mark, and this is my ball dodge program. Basically, the way you play the game is you move the ball around and you try to avoid the black bars that will be falling or traveling across the screen, and also avoiding the gray border that you see around here. Basically, you want to aim for the highest time, and before doing so, you don't want to hit 30 fails. So that's the whole rules of this game. So first, to the script of the ball, we have here is our function, which we call movement, and we define it as four if statements that detect whether or not a key is pressed for direction. So you have up, left, right, and down. And basically, if the key is pressed, it will change the y or x direction by however much it is. And this will repeat until the key is released or it hits this gray border over here. What we have over here is basically after this backdrop switches to the next backdrop, it will show the variable fails, which I'll explain how it works later, and set the ball at 0, 0. Here we have a condition that if the ball is touching the gray border, it'll go back to the center, and it'll play the sound of a screaming male. And the fails counter will increase by 1. Otherwise, it'll just execute movement. Next, we have the black bars. Pretty much all 6 of these have the same code, but there's just a variation as to when they come in. So over here, this is like the difference between them all. You have this bar, you have that bar, and you have this bar. And basically, whenever the template switches to, or whenever the backdrop switches to a certain template, it'll show the bar. What we have over here is the random placement of the thing. So if we play here, you see that the bars actually go in and out randomly in different locations than the last. And basically that's over here, and this will repeat until fails go over 30. And it'll just change its position, and if it hits the end of the screen of its travel, it'll go back and pick another random position. Now if these bars touch the ball, as we see in here, it actually plays the sound and reset the movement and choose another location, and also increase fails by 1. What this is here is for the reset ability, which I'll go into more detail later. What we have over here is the way to reduce fails, or like an extra life and all that. Basically, this is the same movement as the black bars, but the unique part about this is that it has another set of variables to go by, and that is known as extra life. So as we go into the reset bar, I'll go in more detail, but if the extra life is a certain number, it'll show it, otherwise it'll hide it, and it'll just repeat until fails are 30. Now, unique to the black bars, if it touches the ball, it actually changes the fails and reduces it by 1. Just like the last time, it'll reset back to its beginning placement. Now we have the reset button, and this is basically the whole like brains, I would assume, for this program. What we have here is that this is like what happens after you click the reset. It'll set the fails in time to 0. What we have over here is how it will show fails in time after switching to the next backdrop, and this will repeat until fails are over 30. But as it repeats, it'll have 1 second intervals, and every second it'll change time by plus 1, and it will choose a random number for extra life. It'll be between 1 to 10. So over here, there's a 1 of 10 chance that the extra life bar will show, otherwise it'll be hidden. What else? And yeah, when the sprite is clicked, it'll show these, it'll hide these, and then set the values to 0, just like the reset. So here are the backdrops, and basically when we begin, as I show here, it'll default over here to this window, and until this key spacebar is pressed, it will not switch into the next template and start the game. You have to press the space and it will continue. And when the backdrop switches, it'll wait 10 seconds before it switches to the next one, and the same thing again for the third round. And then after that, it'll repeat randomly and choose a different, it will choose a random map. between backdrops number 6 and 8, and it'll keep doing this until either fails go over 30 or the backdrop goes back to the first level. So problems with the program that I had was actually how to get these bars to appear, because as I'll play the game in the background, there are going to be multiple bars coming in eventually. So here in the beginning stages, you have only 2. After 10 seconds, it'll increase to 4, and it'll increase to 6 later on. So basically, I was having trouble how to implement this. And so my solution was to actually use backdrops as a means of determining whether or not it'll increase. So that's basically it. Another problem I had was executing movement. Before, when I programmed this define movement function, I originally only had this Boolean statement over here of the not key up arrow press and whatnot. Every time it would touch the gray line, if the player would hold the button down, it would actually not move back. So by adding the or statement and then adding touching the color gray, I was able to fix that, and so it works as it should be. And yes, that is my program.